Laker fans, welcome to another preview video. We're going to get to the Chicago part here in a second, but first, got to talk about the massive win over the Indiana Pacers. LeBron with the game winner, Tippin leaving his hand with 0.2 left. He's actually done this two other times, once with the Cavs and once with Miami. So, to the Pacers. So, Pacers are not fans of LeBron James, but did it to him once again in a wild game when you look back at it, because the Lakers came out, looked aggressive in the first couple minutes of the game. Then the Pacers went on a run. Then the Lakers took over in the second quarter and really kind of asserted dominance, went up 17 points. Third quarter has been a massive problem for this team. They've been outscored in the third quarter each of the last four games, including this one. I don't know what it is. I don't know, because JJ and the staff really seem to have excellent game plans coming into the game. I don't know if they're having trouble finding the adjustments. But then the Lakers' fourth quarter stats have been great all year. So JJ is making adjustments in response to that. I don't know if it was having the big lead. I think Austin Reaves going out for a little portion of that certainly was a big deal in that regard. Even though Luka was phenomenal, LeBron really struggled for most of the game until the end when he really turned it on. Reaves was kind of the guy that was the go-to scorer. It was consistently getting to the rack whenever he wanted to. So massive win by the Lakers. Again, got to see that defense play better. We've seen within that game, the second quarter defense was unbelievable. Gabe Vincent really made a nice stand there in the third, kind of got things going back for the Lakers when all the momentum was with Indiana. But even at the end of the game, unacceptable. If LeBron doesn't make that shot, we're sitting here talking about the fact that they were giving up concession layups. They were talking about on the broadcast, literal concession layups after Rui hit the back-to-back threes, easy getting to the bucket. The game was still in doubt. This is not like you're up 15 and there's 2 minutes to go and you give up a concession bucket, because who cares? The game was literally in doubt, and they almost lost the game because of it. So that cannot happen. But again, massive win for the Lakers. Huge way to stop the streak, staying right alive in the race for the number 2 seed. And big win to stop the streak. So heading to Chicago, round 2. So last week, Chicago dominated the Lakers. Wasn't even close. We all remember that game, 146-115. The Bulls destroyed the Lakers in transition. They outscored them 30-12. They got outscored in the paint, the Lakers, 74-42. And that was really surprising, because outside of Vucevic, this isn't really a big team. Isn't a team that you would look at like a where the Bucks, it makes sense, because without Jackson Hayes, Brook Lopez, and Giannis, that's just a really tough matchup. Chicago's not that big of a team, and destroyed them inside. The Bulls scored 81 in the second half. Kobe White, Buzelis, and Josh Giddey combined for 82 points. Hell, Josh Giddey almost had a quadruple double. So horrible performance from the Lakers last week. That was probably the worst I've seen in a long time. And just considering that the Lakers were getting whatever they wanted offensively, but defensively, we've talked about it ad nauseum in the last week, but 146 points is not skill. That is heart and caring, and they were not closing out. They weren't doing simple things in this game, which is why they had a hot shooting night. And credit to this Bulls team. This Bulls team's actually on a 3-game winning streak. They've beaten Sacramento before they played the Lakers. Then they played the Lakers, beat them, and then they went into played Denver and beat them as well. So this team's kind of finding a heater, going over the roster. I mean, we saw them all last week. This is a young, talented team, and they're currently sitting in the 9th spot in the East. And I kind of mentioned in my last preview video last week about this team. If they actually would bottom out one year instead of make the play-in and likely get bounced, it'd probably be better for them, because they get a lottery pick and they'd be able to get a superstar. That's kind of been part of the problem, is they don't have that number one go-to guy. But I think Kobe White is really emerging as one of those guys in the league. He's been averaging about 30 points the last couple weeks, had a huge night against the Lakers. And he really, if he played, because the Bulls are a massive market, but if he played on a better team, he would get a lot more love, in which he deserves, because he's a fantastic player. And it's cool over the last week, after that Denver performance, that he is kind of getting the love nationally. Buzelis has really been a nice find for them. Excellent three-point shooter. We saw it in the game against the Lakers. Tremendous. If they could just get a number one scorer, this team could actually make its way in the Eastern Conference a little bit next year. And they're finding their stride a little bit right now. But Chicago fans, I know, are kind of like ease up on the winning, because they want the lottery pick. But, it is what it is. Vucevic, veteran center out of USC, 34 years old. Can still ball, though. And we saw, the stat I mentioned earlier, got outscored 74-42 in the paint. Vucevic was the main reason for that. Kevin Huerter, longtime sharpshooter in the league. He's ended up in Chicago now. And Josh Giddey, coming over from Oklahoma City, almost got a quadruple-double against the Lakers, has really kind of found himself. On Oklahoma City, he was just kind of buried on the depth chart with a lot of really talented players, so you kind of saw the flashes. But now in Chicago, he's really getting to kind of be the number 2 guy besides Kobe White. Him and Buzelis kind of fighting for that. He's really taking advantage of that. And then last week in the game that I think was a major reason why they won, the starting 5 was unbelievable for them, but the bench killed the Lakers. Even though the bench only scored for Chicago about 10 more points than the Lakers did, a lot of that was in garbage time. A lot of the Lakers bench points came when it didn't really matter. Patrick Williams, 4th overall pick out of Florida State a few years ago, he's been heavily criticized because when he was taken in the draft, he was a guy that NBA draft scouts fell in love with the combine. He actually came off the bench at Florida State. He only averaged like 9 points a game. He wasn't some big college player, but they fell in love with him at the combine and they took him, and he hasn't really panned out. But he did have 14 points last week against the Lakers. Dalen Terry, same thing. He had 13 points. He was excellent as well. And Zach Collins kind of rounded out the bench and just outscored the Lakers. Basically, everyone outscored the Lakers, and it wasn't even close. But hearing LeBron post-game talking after the huge win, the normal thought is to have a little bit of a letdown. You come off a huge win. You're playing a Chicago team that you are better than, but I don't think that's going to happen because of how this team got embarrassed last week by the same team, and the Lakers need to win. There's no time to rest on your laurels and be celebrating the buzzer beater win, which was huge. The Lakers, if they lose to Chicago, all the momentum kind of goes out the door. You feel like maybe this was a turning point, beating the Pacers, beating a very good team, improving the record to 2 games over 500 against teams above 500, which is fantastic. But Chicago, this is going to be a fun one. The betting line right now, for those of you interested, is the Lakers are actually favored by 3.5. That's stayed steady. And the total opened at 238.5 and moved all the way up to 239.5, so a point. But that's already a pretty high total to begin with. So that means that they don't think there's going to be a lot of defense played in this game. And given how the Lakers have been playing defense recently, I kind of get it. Looking at the injury report, the Lakers are the same. Maxi Kleber out. Everyone else should be available. They're not releasing an injury report till late tomorrow because of the back-to-back. That's one of the few kind of slight advantages that teams get when they do have a back-to-back, is if there's a guy that's questionable, they get to kind of play it for the other team. They don't have to release it that early. On the Bulls side of things, Trey Jones is out. Io's out for the whole year. He's a really talented young player for them. Josh Giddey, Nikola Vucevic are questionable, but I expect them to play. They've been listed on the injury report for a little bit now, and Kobe White is probable. So everyone should be good to go for them. There was a report that Lonzo Ball was trying to work his way back, but he will miss this Laker game. They might activate him because the Bulls actually are playing good ball and will be in the play-in tournament and be able to try to get in the playoffs and see what happens. But huge win for the Lakers. Really exciting. Got to get back on track. The race in the West is so tight right now. Win this one and then get to Memphis and Houston, which are 2 massive games on Saturday and Monday. They're going to go a long way in determining your seeding in the Western Conference. So super excited for this one. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Alan's going to get you guys on the morning show, crushing it as usual, doing his thing, and then the post-game show at night as always. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and go Lakers.